Good morning, everybody. Welcome to my yard. As always, you will hear some traffic going past, but this is the nicest space and the most spacious space in the house to be recording some yoga for you. So I'm going to record a beautiful stretchy flow. It's about 7:15 in the morning right now, and I've woken up with a bit of a sore hip. So I thought rather than just doing my own practice, I would do it, demo it and record it for you. Because I think a lot of people have these kinds of issues. There goes Gal. So whether or not you're doing this when you wake up, you might be doing it in the middle of the day for work or any other kind of time. Hopefully you get some benefit out of it. You're going to need a ball for myofascial release, and we're actually going to start with that. So we're going to get into the side of the hip and around the top of the glutes. You can have a block if you've got one at home or in the workplace, but it's not a necessity. And of course with bolsters, again, it's a nice to have, but if you're at home, you can use cushions or couch pillows and things like that, or you can just go without. So you can start lying down on your back. And we're going to take a nice twist just to open up a few tissues, to get ourselves breathing really well and to stimulate some of your abdominal organs. So you lie down. You can take your arms out wide if you have the room, or you can just bring them to a cactus position so it's like you're surrendering. And then press the soles of your feet into the ground with your knees bent. Pick up your hips and take your hips just a little bit to the right, then put them back down on the ground. Left leg falls to the ground. It can be bent or straight, it's kind of up to you. And then bring your right leg across your body. Try to keep that right shoulder blade hugging down to the ground. As your right leg travels across the body, maybe you straighten it, maybe the foot touches the ground, maybe your knee falls a little more and you just take a couple of breaths here. If you'd like a bonus little stretch through the right side of your chest, then you just turn your head so that you're looking at your left arm. Take a couple of breaths here, kind of move that right leg around a little bit so you can straighten it and push it down away from your belly, and then bend the knee and draw it back up again. And we're just getting a bit of mobility happening here. Of course, with a twist, sometimes you can feel a little sensitivity through your lower back and through those muscles around there. So if there's anything that's sort of tugging or pulling that feels a bit unsafe, just take yourself out of the twist slightly. You know, you can find degrees to this. And then fold that leg back in, come back through center, soles of both feet to the ground, pick up your hips, take them a little to the left and put them back down again. And then same thing over to the other side. Maybe your right hand acts as a little weight for that left leg to draw it across. Maybe you don't need to, maybe you just staying with your arms out to the side or raised in that cactus shape. And then eyes can fall to the right. And as you try to reach your left shoulder blade down to the ground and actively press it down, you'll notice with your head turned in the other direction, you get a big stretch through the pecs. You might even feel it somewhere else, maybe the back of the shoulder. And just breathe here for a few beats. Any kind of movement you feel like you want to take through that left leg is welcome. And come back through center. Soles of both feet to the ground. Lift up your hips and put the ball underneath the upper part of your right butt cheek. So you're looking for the back of your hip. There's a kind of like a ridge at the top part of the back of the hip. You want to get the ball right up underneath that rim. So you're still on the glutes, but you're up higher than you're used to, higher than you think you should be. Just take a bit of movement, find a spot that feels pretty spicy, and just pause there and breathe into it. You don't have to keep moving. When you find a place that's a bit interesting, you can actually really stop there, and that's going to be really beneficial. And breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. 2 more breaths just like that. Keep it really slow and try to make your exhale longer than your breath in. Lift up your hips, take out that ball, figure 4, right ankle crosses over left thigh. You can either stay here and press the leg away, or you can draw that unit in towards you. You can interlace hands and have them at the back of that left thigh, or if you've got the range and it feels comfortable, you can do it over the shin. And take a rock from side to side over the backs of your hips. And then changing sides, release the soles of your feet back to the ground. And then that ball goes underneath your left glutes, up higher than you think. You can have it in closer toward the sacrum, which is sort of that middle part at the back of the hips. It's its own bone. There's a joint there, the sacroiliac joint. So you want to stay to the left of the sacrum if that's where you've gone. Or you can have that ball rolling up and around closer toward the outside of the hip. And again, finding that point of really interesting sensation where you get a bit curious about like, oh, why is that so stuck? Why is that so, maybe even painful is a word that occurs to you. And breathe into it here, 3 full rounds of breath. Then you can lift up your hips, place them back down on the ground, ball off to the side, and take that nice figure 4 to your degree. Might leave the foot on the ground or draw that leg in towards you. And rock the hips from side to side, moving that unit. Cool. From here, keep hold of your right leg. So keep the right leg in space. Draw it in toward your chest and extend your left leg long. If you need the support of the ground, you can put your foot on the ground, or your whole leg actually. But if you can hover the leg, then hover it and squeeze your muscles around the left leg to keep it suspended and strong. Flex your toes to your shins. And then with the right leg, hold on to the shin bone, or you can hold on to the thigh if that's more accessible for you, so on the back of the thigh there. And then you're going to take just some mobility through that right hip. You can take little half circles. Press your leg into your hands and give that leg some tension with the hands as well, so you feel like you've got some resistance there as you move. And this is going to just expedite the mobility process. Switch sides, right leg long, hover it if you can, or if you need to, bring it to the ground, that's all right. And do the same thing for the left side, hands over the shin, or you can have them on the back of the thigh if that's more comfortable for your body. You can take any kind of circling or oscillating movements you like. Try to keep the back of your right hip planted down on the ground though as you move, and keep your feet active. So your core's got to switch on to do that. Both knees to chest. Breathe in. Breathe out. Nose toward your knees. Uppanasana. Inhale, head to ground. Exhale, nose to knees. Once more. Breathe in, release. Breathe out. Squeeze yourself into a ball. Inhale, release to the ground. Legs long, arms reach up, take a big stretch. And then roll yourself over to one side and bring yourself up to happy cat, angry cat. So you come into a 4-point kneel. And then start to move with the breath in, chest opens. And with the breath out, you press the back of your heart toward the sky. Happy cat with the breath in. Angry cat, as you breathe out, pull your belly up toward your spine. So it's a big scoop there. Happy cat, keep a bit of engagement around the core. Angry cat as you clear your lungs. Nice. From here, just playing with some movement through your limbs and getting nice and stable through your midsection. So draw belly up, hug your front ribs up, and you're going to take your right leg out long, press into your left shin bone. Bring that right knee back to the ground as you breathe out. Extend the left leg long behind you as you breathe in. Knee to ground. You're going to do that 2 more times either side, so you don't need to look at me. You can look at the ground just ahead of your index fingers. Eyes stay centered, neck is nice and long. Left side. The breath in helps you lift. The breath out, with control, you lower the knee back to the ground. Stay broad through your collarbones. Last time, left side. Nice. Hug up through your belly once again, reset. Take your right arm, so you've got to really press down into your left palm and fingertips and reach that right arm forward. Hand back to the ground. Try not to let your body move too much as you press into the right hand and lift the left hand forward. Hand to the ground. Keep hugging up through your rib cage, up through your abdominals, right side. Pay attention to the way you put your hand back on the ground. Left side. This time when you lift the right hand, wrap back your left shoulder. Get a little stronger in that left stabilizing arm. Same thing on the right side. Shoulder wraps back. Press the tops of your feet into the ground. Nice. Happy cat. Angry cat, all the way back to a child's pose. Separate your knees, bring your big toes together and sit back toward your heels. 3 breaths here. Keep your forehead on the ground, and if your hips don't reach your heels, that's all right. You can stay lifted through the glutes. Just make sure your head is supported. Come back up to a happy cat. Knees can stay nice and wide. Angry cat to child's pose as you breathe out. Happy cat lifts you. Breath in. Angry cat to child's pose. So you get that big flexion before you let your heart drop down toward the ground, head to ground. One more time up. Reset your knees into that 4-point quadruped position as you breathe out, and then take right arm to sky and thread the needle. Take it back up again with the breath in. Hand reaches and thread. Take it on up and replace your hand to the ground into your kneeling position as you breathe out. Left hand to sky and thread. 2 more times with your breath. Left ear tries to tap the ground at the bottom of the breath out, and the breath in lifts you back up. Once more. Replace the palm of your left hand on the ground. Take a happy cat. Downward facing dog. So hands to the floor, toes tuck, hips lift up, and then all of a sudden you're upside down. You can take a pedal out through the backs of your legs here. Might be really lovely to let your hamstrings just release. As you bend your left knee, straighten your right leg, and then let your hips fall a little to the left. So it's like your right hip is drawing further back. You find this nice link to the whole right side of your body. Press your hands forward and down, and then switch sides. Right knee bends, left leg straightens, and you let the hips tilt to the right. And from here, just bring your knees to floor, step your right foot to the top of your mat and come up into a crescent lunge. Breathe in here. Breathe out. And take a lovely side bend. Bring your right hand to thigh, left hand reaches up. Tuck your tailbone, and then a side bend. Some of my teachers like to do this. They do it in most of their classes, and it feels like a really lovely way to open up through the front line of the body, but you're also dealing with any kind of sort of hip flexor related discomfort in your lower back. So it's a beautiful one to do if you spend a lot of time sitting, or if you wake up in the morning and your back feels a bit twingy. Arms to sky, breathe in. Pull back to Ardha Hanuman, more targeted hamstrings and backline of body here. So you're gonna take a breath in, point your toes and lift your chest. As you breathe out, fold toward that front leg. It can be just a little fold, doesn't have to be huge, but make sure you flex your toes toward your face. Lift and point, breathe in. And flex as you fold. Breathe on out. Once more. Come forward to a runner's lunge. And take a little twist here. This is where a block or something to elevate your left hand and the left side of your body might come in handy. And take that right arm up. You can pull the hips back a little bit. You don't have to stay really far forward when you twist. You can feel really kind on your back to just give yourself a bit of space. Breathe in. Breathe out, let that hand float around and down, get some shoulder mobility going. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee up, stay here for a moment. Get really strong through that back leg, so lift that kneecap and then a rock back and forth. Breathe in, plant your hands on the ground. Angry cat your upper back, draw up through your belly like a scoop, and then step your right foot back to meet your left foot, downward facing dog. Cool. Come forward into an easy high plank. Breathe in, knees to the ground, and take an angry cat. So you come into a quadruped position. Happy cat, breathing. Downward facing dog, breathe out. Bring knees to ground. Breathe in. Step your left foot forward as you breathe out, and then lift up to crescent lunge. And just pause here for a moment. Get a little firmer through that back shin. Reach up with the right hand. Breathe in, left hand to thigh. Take a side bend as you breathe out, and then stay here and take any kind of movement that feels good for your body. A little more drop down at the backs of your hips, a bit of a tuck of tailbone under. Two hands to sky, breathe in. Pull that left leg straighter, but you can have a little bend in the knee if you need to, or a big bend. For Ardha Hanuman, breathe in. Point your toes and lift your chest. Then exhale, fold to your degree. Yours, no one else's, and flex the foot. Inhale, point and lift. Exhale, flex and fold. Smooth breath in, one more. Slow down the movement with the breath out. Draw that left hip back in space a little. And then lift up, breathe in. Runner's lunge as you breathe out. Right hand either to ground or to a block or a stack of books or a water bottle or anything else that you've got. Notice how my hips are quite far forward, so there's a big angle at my back knee. You can bring those hips back a little bit and then take your twist. And that's still going to give you the benefit of the compression that a twist gives through your abdominal organs and through those muscles, but you're going to just be a little kinder to your hips and your lumbar spine. Breathe in. Hands to ground as you breathe out. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. Firm right leg, pull the kneecap up and you feel your quad switch on. Take a rock back and forth a few times. And then plant your hands down on the ground. Round your back. So you have to be really far forward on those right toes. Firm up through your abdominals. Then lift your left foot off the ground and press back to downward facing dog. Forward to an easy high plank. Knees down for angry cat on the breath out. Happy cat on the breath in. Downward facing dog. Breathe on out. We're going to flow that without me talking as much. I'm going to guide you through, but the cueing is up to you to tuck tailbone, to press your shin down, to wrap your shoulder back. So come forward and drop your knees slowly to the ground. Exhale, right foot to the top of your mat. Lift on the breath in. Side bend, right hand to thigh, breathe out. Lifting breath in. Ardha Hanuman, stretch, breathe on out. Point the toes, lift the chest, breathe in. Fold and flex the foot. Twice more. Knee can be as bent as you need it to be. Lift, runner's lunge, breathe on out. Take a twist, right hand to sky. Two hands to the ground as you breathe out. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, breathe in. Hands to the ground, breathe out as you round the spine and step that right foot to downward facing dog. Forward to a high plank, breath in. Angry cat, clear your lungs. Happy cat, breathe in. Downward facing dog with control. Draw up through your belly, integrity right at your center. Come forward and bring your knees to the ground as you breathe in. Step your left foot to the top of your mat as you breathe out. Lift, breath in. Left hand to thigh, side bend as you exhale. Lift, two hands up. Ardha Hanuman. Stretch out. Breathe in, chest lifts, point your toes. Flex and fold. Twice more. Slow it right down. Breath moves your body. Even though it's small movements, take your time. Lift forward to a runner's lunge as you breathe out. Twist, left hand lifts up. Hand to ground as you breathe out. Props aside, tuck your back toes and lift on the breath in. Downward facing dog, firm your abdominals, then move that foot. Forward. Angry cat. Happy cat. Downward facing dog, and pause here for 3 full rounds of breath. Upside down. Lift your hips, press your chest a little more toward your thighs. Little bend in the knees might feel good. Smooth out the breath. Then lift up onto your tiptoes, look at your thumbs, bend your knees, walk to the top of your mat. Halfway lift, breathe in. Forward fold, breathe out. One breath in, lift all the way up. Hands to heart center, lungs clear out. Lifting breath in, move with the breath, or let the breath move you. Forward fold, Uttanasana, all the way back to the ground. Halfway lift, breathe in. Left foot steps back, so your right foot stays at the top of the mat. Crescent lunge, you bend your back knee, fingertips lift off the ground and you start to unfurl. Rise all the way up, back knee still hovering off the ground and it's bent. Good, breathe in here. Water wheel, left hand reaches forward, right hand reaches back, it's a twist. Right hand keeps on moving down. The left hand holds at shoulder height until the right hand on its dial reaches the left again, and then both hands lift to the sky. Nice, flying long stance pyramid. Both legs towards straight. You'll see my back heel is really high. It's not reaching for the ground, it's up. And then you lean your chest forward, pull back your right hip and reach your arms back behind you. Nice, breathe in. Runner's lunge as you breathe out. Inhale, lift your foot off the ground. Exhale, downward facing dog. Straight back into it, lift up onto your tiptoes. Walk your feet to your hands. Halfway lift. And fold. Rise up, one breath in to the soles of your feet. Ground yourself, hands to heart center as you breathe out. Lift up, breathe in. Fold. Halfway lift, grounding. Right foot back, so your left foot stays at the top of the mat near your hands. Bend your back knee. Scoop up through your belly and then start to rise into crescent lunge, Anjaneyasana. Water wheel twist, switch on your right glutes, right hand forward, left hand back and down. Keep the left knee steady. True hands to sky, breathe in. Flying long stance pyramid, both legs to straightish first. Back heel is high, hinge forward, belly toward thigh, but your chest comes no further down than parallel to the ground. And your palms are face down as your arms sweep back behind you, yeah? Breathe in. Runner's lunge, breathe on out, strong through the back leg. Inhale, lift your left foot off the ground and step it back to downward facing dog as you breathe out. Forward to a high plank, breathe in. Angry cat as you breathe out. Happy cat, breathe in. Child's pose, clear out your lungs. Stay here for a good few breaths. Stay in your child's pose. I'm sitting up so I can talk to you. But notice here how it feels now compared to how it felt at the start of your session, at the start of your yoga practice today. Another 2 full rounds of breath here. And that means a breath in and a breath out twice. Nice. Come on up to a seat. pause for a moment. You can gather your hands into any position that feels balancing for you as you prepare to close this section of your practice, whether you're going on to do another video or whether you're moving on with your day or your evening. Take a breath in, feel any part of your body that's touching the ground. Get a little more earthed. And as you breathe out, soften your shoulders and lengthen the crown of your head upward, the edges of your neck reach. Last breath in. And we bow toward ourselves, toward this shared practice on the magical interwebs up there somewhere in the ether that bring these ancient practices to life wherever you are in your body. Om Shanti. Thank you for practicing with me wherever you are, whenever you are, and I hopefully see you again soon.